A judge has sentenced a teenager in Rockdale County to a year behind bars after a brutal attack on a teacher.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Rita. I hope you all are doing well. So today we're going to talk about the rise of violence against teachers in K through 12.
A judge has sentenced a teenager in Rockdale County to a year behind bars after a brutal attack on a teacher.
And nearly ended her 27-year teaching career.
I was in the hospital 6 days, and the numbness was there all 6 days.
This has actually become a pretty common thing now where students are attacking teachers. Not only teachers, but parents. That's a separate video. There's more going on with these kids. Here's another one, and this is the one maybe we've all heard about.
They're at Rich Neck Elementary School this afternoon. We just want to repeat some of these facts of this story where a 6-year-old student shot and wounded his teacher, a woman in her 30s today.
So same kind of thing, attacking or attacking teachers, assaulting teachers over the cell phone. These cell phones obviously have become an extension of these kids, like these alter egos. So when you take it, it's like you're taking their personhood away. And that's why they behave so erratically. They have become so attached. Well, this is something new. I think the younger generation has this idea that this is how the world has always been. This is how America has always been. It has not. Even 20 years ago, forget 30, 40 years ago, this was not this was unheard of. So this is a new phenomenon. It's easy, I think, for us to look at these situations and kind of think we want to throw the book at these children. But the one thing we have to remember is that they are children. And it seems like in a lot of these cases that they are just irredeemable. A lot of times these kids are acting out because there is no discipline, because there is severe dysfunction and or abuse happening in the home, and then they go to school and they really don't have, like I've said in my last video, they really have not been socialized. They are malleable. So when kids perform like this, it is a reflection of what they're living day to day. So while it's sometimes it's easy for us to look at this as just one more, because we see the adults in the news, right? We see the adults too acting out, doing all of what they're doing. And then we see the kids doing the same thing. So sometimes I think it's easy for us to lump them all in one bucket. But obviously these are children. I think it's important to kind of look at this and figure out, what can we do about this? Well, maybe we can't figure all that out in one video, right? But at least we can kind of ponder what are just some small steps to take toward what is going on in our culture, because it honestly looks quite grim, right? In the first video, there's an interaction with the teacher. They're going back and forth, some verbal, whatever. Next thing you know, you can see the escalation building. And so one thing, and of course this teacher, I'm sure, did not do anything wrong, to get beat like she did. One thing I think that we need to remember is this is a different generation. And this is not the generations of old where the respect level was really high. And this generation is very volatile. They are very sensitive, for lack of a better term, right now. And so the approach that used to be taken with students, like when I was in school, I had a teacher, when you didn't do your homework, he would just come by and flick you on the back of your head. Nobody freaked out. Everybody, if anything, everybody clinched up and kind of felt like, oh gosh, I know I'm the one that didn't prepare for the lesson. So I know he's coming my way. And you felt more embarrassed, and you felt more like, okay, I don't want to be embarrassed anymore. So next time I'm going to do better. I'm going to make sure I do my work. I don't think that kind of reinforcement works on this generation. And so teachers nowadays have to be more than teaching, science, history. We have to, well, not we, because I'm not a teacher, but this is, again, me from the outside looking in. It seems that we have to be more of a therapist than an actual teacher. A harsh word stirs up wrath. A gentle word turns it away. The idea is de-escalation. This might sound like, oh my gosh, this is way too much coddling. But I think at this point, this is the stage we're in, where the interaction with students has to be one of de-escalation always. Those of us who are still sane and sober need to be reminding our youth of their value, not of the crazy stuff that they're being taught. Because think of it this way. You can see that there is a sense of hopelessness and a void, right? And so I find it interesting that for all of these teachers with all the woke crazy stuff with the pink hair and the flying the flags and this all the crazy, right, that we've seen on TikTok, and how are they able to get kids to march in protests with them? How are they able to coerce and talk these kids into gender reassignment surgeries without the parents knowing? That is a very intimate space, and we can talk in a separate video about the audacity. But what did the teachers do to gain that sort of trust with people's children? They obviously poured into them in a wrong way, but nonetheless, they filled a void, obviously, that these kids are having. So not only are they telling them, yeah, you can be anything you want to be, they're doing it in obviously a perverted way. I think the solution to this is, while I love to say the church,
Her name is Britta Filter, and she is the Queen of New York. Yeah!
I became the pastor, and I didn't know what a pastor did. And so I was meeting with a group of people, and they was like, what should we do for Easter? I was like, I've never preached the Easter message, so I'm not going to start this year. We need to come up with an Easter play.
It means at the Village Church, we are going to be serious about seeking and finding gifted, godly, ferocious persons of color.
We can't really depend on the church universal to do this job. So I think individually, what's going to have to be done, especially if you're a teacher or if you mentor or if you're around kids, whatever, I think that the onus is kind of on us as society to tell these kids, try to show these kids their worth and their value without all the crazy. I think that is going to be part of how we start to change the course of things. It won't work for every kid. And yeah, that's a huge task. The crazy teachers, they're instilling their values and their weird stuff into the children. Let me know you guys' thoughts. What do you think would be helpful in this situation? Till next time, God bless. Ciao.